ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled The Dark Sun, Planet X Now Entering Earth's Atmosphere in Large Numbers. Now, the evidence is quite conclusive that sun simulators are being used in the Earth's atmosphere, and Figure 1 below shows two devices that are clearly based on laser technology, as laser beams are seen emanating from both. And you can see a green one here and a pink laser beam there. For more details, you may look at Article 214 entitled Global Sun Simulation System and the Dying Sun. And here's another example of the devices in our atmosphere. This one is hexagonal. It seems to be an array of hexagonal mirrors. And it is in the atmosphere amongst the clouds. Now, the evidence is therefore quite conclusive that sun simulators are being used in the Earth's atmosphere. And the reason for their use is that the sun is no longer shining and has not been shining for a long time. This can be seen from the fact that the atmosphere is being illuminated from within, so that shadows now appear on clouds above recently sprayed chemtrails. And you may look at Article 478 entitled Planet X has reached Earth for more details on that. Now, the real sun is no longer illuminating the atmosphere from outside the Earth's atmosphere because the sun has lost its corona or atmosphere after Planet X drawing it away for thousands of years. The Planet X system is a system of many thousands of dead stars, plus dead planets and moons, which surrounds the solar system in every direction. And you may look at Article 368 entitled The Destroyer System, Planet X and the Oort Cloud for more details. These objects have been coming in as comets for thousands of years. They are depleted in energy, and energy is associated to gravitational influence. So they have very low gravitational influence and therefore appear to be of very low mass. However, some of these objects are much larger than the sun and thus have much more mass than it does. But that mass is very low in photon energy. The low energy status has turned these dead objects into strong energy and matter, and that is matter that has high photon energy inside it. Absorbers. So they absorb energy and matter. And they have thus removed the sun's corona, which is matter with a lot of photon energy in it, until the sun can no longer replenish it. It can no longer replenish its own corona. And this has caused the sun to not be able to emit light. And you can see it from these two SDR images about 7 years apart, how the sun's corona decreased in size. And this was after thousands of years of the sun being affected by these objects, by them removing part of its corona. And you may look at Article 446 entitled When Did They Find Out That the Sun Was Dying? And that is in reference to the timestamps on these images have to be wrong, because we know the sun is no longer shining now. And it seems that it was not shining either in 2011. And in Article 446 I explain that. Now, here is a diagram which illustrates what these objects, these Planet X system stellar cores, which are the same as comets because they come in as comets. And basically these objects have consumed the sun's corona over several thousand years and will continue to consume the sun layer by layer, piece by piece, until it will have nothing left but its core and the debris field around it, even as they will continue to draw its gravitational photon energy until the sun has turned into a stellar core as well. So basically they are pulling the sun apart. They have consumed its corona. There may be some chromosphere left, but they will continue to draw that. And after they've taken all of the sun's chromosphere, they will continue through the sun's outer layers until all that's left is the sun's core. And when that happens, then the sun is a stellar core as well. It's just the core of a star with nothing left. And for more details, you may look at article 459 entitled Planet X Effects Leading to the Sun Dying. Stars emit light from their atmosphere. The Earth also emits light from its atmospheres. This is where lightning storms occur. Stars and planets are the same type of object, but stars are larger and create a larger electric potential in their atmosphere, which allows the atmosphere to go into plasma arc mode and thus emit a huge amount of light. All stars and planets generate energy in their cores through radioactive decay of unstable nuclei or fission, and produce a positively charged interior and a negative outer layer due to the charge separation interaction, which is one of the three parts making up the gravitational interaction. And you may look at article 181 entitled Stellar Cores and Deciphering Gravity. And this diagram illustrates how every structure in the universe has a positive interior, including atoms. This is the hydrogen atom that has one proton in the nucleus and one electron in its outer layer, but it's positively charged on the inside and negatively charged on the outside. And every single object, whether it be an atom or a galactic nucleus or a protogalaxy, which is a quasar, it has the same structure. It has a positively charged interior and a negative outer layer. All stars, all planets, galaxies, every structure in the universe has the same basic structure. And stars are basically super atoms, and stellar cores, because they are dead, are actually super ions because they are depleted in electrons and basically just have a positive inner core. And this is what they are doing to the sun. They are turning it into that. Now, the positively charged core is what causes celestial objects with cores to not collide with each other, as the cores are positively charged and repel each other. And you may look at article 193 entitled Stellar Cores in the Sun's Corona, Why Do They Not Collide with the Sun? And this diagram explains what occurs. And you can see this would be a stellar core in the sun's corona, and this would be the sun when it still had a corona. And the corona is this outer layer, which is in blue. It's extremely rich in electrons. There will be some ions, in positively charged ions, but it's mainly electrons, which is why it's the negative outer layer. And it's a gravitational interaction, at least the part that also called the charge separation interaction, that causes neutral atoms in the core to separate. In other words, there is a repelling force between protons and electrons, which pushes electrons to the outer layer, as long as the object has gravitational energy or photon energy to do that. So the sun has a negative outer layer. The stellar cores do not, but once they enter the sun's corona, then the sun's electrons go out to envelop it, and it starts absorbing electrons from the sun. And then at that time, until it enters the sun's outer layer, the inner core of the sun is shielded from it. It's not detected at all. But once it makes contact with the sun's corona, then the positive core, positively charged, becomes detected, and then there will be a force between the two, and it's from the electrostatic interaction which causes two positively charged objects to repel. And so the moment it enters the sun's atmosphere, it is repelled by the sun's interior, so it cannot collide with the sun. But there will be a gravitational attraction between the proton rich core of the object and the sun's also proton rich inner core. So this would be, the green arrow represents that gravitational attraction. Then the third part of the gravitational interaction is the one that causes the electrons and the protons to repel. So the object will be repelled by the electrons. That will be a gravitational interaction. But it's very weak. So it means that basically you have this attractive gravitational attraction between protons and protons, balanced by the electrostatic repulsion between protons and protons. And that means that the object can hold its position for a time until the amount of photon energy inside and the number of electrons and the amount of matter that it is absorbing from the sun increases to such a point that the repulsive forces increase, and then it's ejected and it moves away from the sun. But so these objects are able to enter the sun's corona because they don't have an outer negative layer. They are depleted in electrons, and even after absorbing some, they will slowly move towards the core because the object does not have enough photon energy to keep them outside. And with normal celestial objects, they would be repelled before their atmospheres make contact because the two negative outer layers would repel. But with these objects, because they don't have a negative outer layer, they can actually enter the atmosphere before they feel a repelling force. And thus, when approaching Earth, these objects are also able to enter the Earth's atmosphere and yet do not collide with the surface. It's exactly the same as what we observe them doing in the sun's corona. And you can see one of these here making a gravitational vortex connection with the sun. Through it, it's drawing chromosphere from the sun. And the chromosphere is the sun's liquid layer, and it's equivalent to the Earth's ocean, which is why these objects, when over the ocean, will produce water spouts. And through the water spouts, that's a gravitational connection, they draw ocean water from the surface of the Earth. And basically this is a solar tornado, and this is why they create tornadoes inside the Earth's atmosphere. And they also hover in the Earth's atmosphere, just like they hover in the sun's corona, which we see this one doing there. Now, when the sun was still emitting light and had an intact corona, most of the stellar cores obtained all they needed from the sun. But now that the sun can no longer emit light, as it has no corona left, has an outer negative layer, or has lost its outer negative layer, then they have to go somewhere else to get their supply of electrons, which is why they are now approaching the planets for that supply of electrons. And this is why there are now a large number of these objects in the Earth's atmosphere. And we see one of these here in this photograph. For more details, you may look at article 410. As you can see, it's a spherical object partially immersed in cloud, because cloud, they attract Earth's atmosphere, which then condenses into cloud and forms a layer around the objects. And here we see another photograph which shows us that these objects are in the Earth's atmosphere, and this one is poking a hole through a cloud, and this cloud was actually generated by dust from its debris field, and these objects are always surrounded in a debris field. And the bottom looks blue because a holographic projector is illuminating it with blue light from below. And you may look at article 479 entitled Planet X Creating Circular Holes in Clouds for more details. Only the objects smaller than the Earth are able to draw material from the Earth's surface and atmosphere through their weak gravitational interaction. Objects larger than the Earth exert a weaker force on the material on the Earth's surface than the Earth does, and are thus not able to remove it from the Earth. This is why it was always smaller objects than the sun which were able to make gravitational vortex connections with it, and why the objects producing tornadoes on the Earth are also smaller than the Earth. And you may look at article 403 entitled Earth Losing Atmosphere Due to Planet X Related Gravitational Diffraction. Larger objects are, however, capable of having electrical discharges with the Earth's outer layer and remove material through that interaction. This is also how objects larger than the sun remove its corona, or did before, and that was through electrical discharges. They induced the sun into ejecting large amounts of corona in their direction. You see an example of that here. And this is one of these stellar cores. This one was about 7 times larger than the sun. So this is the core of what was once a huge star. But it's now dead, so its gravitational interaction is extremely weak. And so it means that it can approach the sun as if it's an object with very low mass, but it's a strong absorber of energy, and there will be an electrical interaction between the two. And that electrical interaction causes the sun to eject large amounts of coronal plasma towards the object, which the object is then able to capture as its captured atmosphere, as its coma, because these are, of course, comets. And you can see the sun here having that strong reaction towards the object. You can see some of the corona is actually going in front of the object. You can see covering part of its edge here, and that shows us that this object came very, very close to the sun. And like the smaller ones, it is able to enter the sun's corona and almost touch the surface of the sun, but not quite, because of course they will repel. And so in conclusion, sun simulators are being used in the Earth's atmosphere because the sun is no longer shining. The sun is no longer shining because it has lost its corona, as it has been removed by the Planet X system of dead objects which have been coming in as comets for thousands of years. Thus the sun is now a dark sun, which has caused Planet X system objects to approach Earth in increasing numbers. They enter the Earth's atmosphere but do not collide with the Earth's surface, just like they were observed entering the sun's corona but did not collide with the sun. And these are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.